Well, we know this baseball is really a game of statistics. Just watch a broadcast as I drop my pen here. I was writing down numbers for stats. But for more on how the numbers stack up and the Jays' odds of winning it all, we're joined live this morning by UofT Professor of Statistics, Jeffrey Rosenthal. Jeffrey, great to talk to you this morning. Okay, so here we are. We can now talk about this game. It's 2-1 Dodgers. What do the statistics say about now the Jays' probability or chances of winning it all, as we like to say?
Yeah, well, it's a tough one. I sure wish they'd won last night.
Yeah.
And, it was a close one, and would have made quite a difference because, with the games that are left, being up 2-1 is much better than being down 1-2. And when the series started, I went out on a bit of a limb because I had the Blue Jays' chances of winning a little higher than 50%. I had them about 52.46% chance, whereas most people were saying that they had a smaller chance. So I was thinking they're going to do it. Now, it's too bad they lost last night, and you got to say with the loss, their probability of winning the series does go down. It goes down into the low to mid 30%, I'd have to say, based on my statistical modeling. But at the same time, every game's a separate game, and they certainly still have a chance to pull it out and win it.
Yeah, so if you could recap kind of what that statistic is. You're saying it's a 30% chance of winning now? I couldn't quite hear you,
well,
sorry.
A little more, but I have it actually at the 31.26% chance based on my statistical modeling, based on what's happened so far.
Okay, so if they win tonight, does that statistic change then, and what would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. So if they win tonight, then they're back up to 2-2, and then they also still have the 2 home games still to come, and home field advantage can be a big issue for these teams. So I would have them, again, probably slightly over 50% if they can win tonight. So tonight's game, if they win it, that'll sure be a big help.
Okay, you just said something so fascinating to me, Professor, about home field advantage, and it almost speaks to something that is hard to calculate, right? But you crunch the numbers for a living. You're probably very, unbiased about that. The numbers tell the story, they tell the stats. But home field advantage, heart, guts, determination, those kind of things, how can that mess with your statistical models?
Well, it's hard to measure the heart and the gut, but what I can do is look at their records during the regular season when they were home versus away. And for each of these teams, they were over 65% wins when they were at home, and they were very close to 50% wins when they were away. So these are 2 teams that are indeed affected by the home field advantage, and that's part of the reason that I had the Jays slightly ahead at the beginning, because they got 4 home games instead of 3, and that can make a difference.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And Professor Rosenthal, I'm curious, have you ever crunched the numbers in terms of how many bad calls from umpires have affected a World Series game?
I haven't looked at that from a statistical point of view, but as a fan, I've seen it, and it can be frustrating. For example, in last night's game when Bichetti was called out on what should have been a walk, and he thought it was a walk, and that was just a terrible moment, and that probably would have made a difference of 1 run, so the Jays probably would have won right there if he hadn't been called out, if the walk had been called as a walk. Yeah,
if looks could kill, Bo Bichette would be behind bars this morning. No doubt about that, Professor. What about this, though? You're talking about a 31% chance now for the Jays to win here. If you were a baseball batter batting 3,100, you'd be in the Hall of Fame, though.
Well, sure. I mean, when you're batting, of course, most of the time people get out. So if you're batting over 300, that means you're a good batter. So that's a little different. But in this case, we want the Jays to win the World Series. We don't want them to have just a 31% chance. We want them to win it, and they still have a chance.
Okay, they really do. Yesterday was just 1 game. We've got Game 4 going on tonight in LA. UofT Professor Jeffrey Rosenthal of Statistics. Appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll have you back to crunch the numbers again, because hopefully the Jays are going to win, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Professor.